Oh, I gotta check my sound. Totally forgot to bring my headphones. I was traveling and I had them in the bag, so I want to make sure I have them, obviously. Gotta check the sound with them. They're not too important when I do these live streams where I'm talking, but when I'm playing video games, they're super important. Let's see. But I do need them to check sound on all the platforms here. Let's see. Check on Facebook and on YouTube. But I do need them to check. Oh, yeah, everything is fine. So, yeah, I hope everyone's having a great day. It is a Tuesday today. I was this whole weekend, since Friday, last Friday, I was at Barranquilla. It's the carnival, and it's super fun. I go every single year. And yeah, this year was probably the most epic year we've had. We had 71 people go, made a bunch of new friends, had a bunch of new experiences that were amazing. So yeah, it was a great time. So today, I was thinking about things, and someone, you know, asked me again. I've been asked many times. I'll take this off. I've been asked, over the years, ever since I started blogging and then doing the podcast on the Columbia podcast, I've been asked various times, like, what advice I would have for a young person. Usually it's a young person asking, like, oh, I'd like to be financially independent. I'd like to travel. I'd like to live in another country. I'd like to start a business. I'd like to be able to have as much as fun as you do. We go places, we travel. I have an amazing core circle of friends, and we're all very like-minded. We all do the same things. When we travel, we all travel together. I have, various employees that are basically my best friends as well, and we've just cultivated a circle of friends that is amazing. And so, what would be my advice to that younger person? And today I was asked again. So as I was working today all day, I did have to run a few errands. I helped a friend go recover a SIM card because he had his phone stolen at the carnival, which is very, 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 very probable to happen. So it's usually best not even to take anything out when you're at the carnival or at the events. But anyway, I was thinking of the things that I would tell my younger self. So I thought of four things. There's a lot of things I would tell myself, and then there's a lot of things that I would skip because I know myself, and I was like, well, I'm not an idiot, so I'm not going to tell myself, wear a condom, or don't do drugs. Well, I did drugs and I landed in jail, but those sometimes those experiences are necessary. Sometimes you do need to hit those roadblocks in life. And even if someone advises you, even if it's yourself returning from the future and saying, hey, don't do this, or even the obvious ones like buy Bitcoin, back in 2004 or five, or whenever it was that it was first came out, and it was pennies to buy, Bitcoin. Obviously, those are the obvious things. It's like if a genie comes up and asks you, tells you have one wish, you wish for 1,000 wishes, right, or whatever. It doesn't, those are obvious, and I'm not gonna make those or give those tips to myself or to a young person, because it's just not it's not conducive to something positive, right? It's not going to help them change in any way, really. And if you don't have money to buy Bitcoin, or let's say, right now, if I told you, hey, go buy this, go buy Zillow or whatever, just because it's a fire sale, and you don't have any money to buy it, it's not going to make a difference to you. What can make a difference to you right now? So I'm going to start recording. Welcome to Life Hacks with Andrew. I'm Andrew Messia. Today I'm going to be talking about the 4 things I'd tell my younger self. I'm 41 years old now, and actually it kind of sucks that I'm not young anymore. I've always thought of myself as a young person, but now I'm 41. I'm middle aged. I'm no longer in my 20s. I'm no longer in my 30s. And even when I was a kid, I thought people in their 30s were old and they had their shit together, and I didn't when I was in my 30s. I'm 41 and I still don't have all of my shit together, but I feel that I do lead a pretty successful life, and I am very happy, and I do believe that I've impacted many people in my life so far, and I continue to do so, and I continue to strive towards that. So I've been asked over the course of the past few years, ever since I started blogging and doing the Columbia podcast and now doing Life Hacks with Andrew, every now and then I'll get an email or someone messaging me that is a young person and ask me what advice I would give them to, improve their life or change the course of their life, or to make it, somewhat similar to what I've done. And usually I tell them, well, don't do what I did. Don't, it shouldn't take you 41 years to get to where I am at. Many people do it way before. Some people do it way after. I guess the timing doesn't matter, but you don't want to, make a bunch of mistakes like I did and then learn from them, and then, be here at 41 and when you could have done it earlier. So for example, if I were to talk to my younger self, these would be the 4 things that I would tell myself that would probably make a small difference, maybe help me reach my goals a little bit quicker. So I often get these questions from younger viewers and or listeners asking what I could do or what they could do. What advice would I give my younger self? So today I'm going to go over, or in this video, I'm going to go over the 4 things I'd tell my younger self. Number 1, regret is the worst feeling in the world. Don't be afraid to follow your dreams, whatever they are. Obviously, as long as they don't hurt other people. Even if you're broke right now, take some time to put energy into what you really want to be doing. As small as that may sound, it's like a bank account that accrues interest. The more you feed that bank account with positive thoughts, the better the chances you have of achieving them. So regret is the worst feeling in the world. If you're shy right now, and don't just wish you were less shy, but put yourself in situations that take you out of your comfort zone. That beautiful girl that you want to meet, tell her she's beautiful. Make her laugh with a joke. Tell her you'd like to take her out. That business idea that you have, pursue it until you can't anymore. Something good will come of it. Something good will come of it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually the dots will start to connect. Don't let what others think hold you back. It's better to be rejected by that girl. It's better to have failed at that business. It's better to die trying than to live with the regret of never trying and asking yourself, what if? You don't want to find yourself at 41 years old asking yourself, what if I would have done this differently? What if I would have pursued that business opportunity? What if I would have worked harder? What if I would have never quit the basketball team? What if I would have asked that beautiful girl out and she didn't reject me? Would we be married and had kids and had a great life together? Would we be divorced now? But I would have loved that experience. What if? Don't let what others think hold you back and guide your destiny. It's better to be rejected. It's better to have failed. It's better to have died trying than to live with regret and asking yourself, what if? What if? Most of us, when we're young, we have these dreams, we have these aspirations, and sometimes we let what others think about us or about the situation control our actions. Don't let others control your actions, because regret is the worst feeling in the world. It's worse than the feeling of failure. It's worse than the feeling of rejection, because at least if you fail or you get rejected, you know what the outcome was. If you don't even try at all, you're going to live with this depression. You're going to live with this memory of never trying. So don't live with regret. That doesn't mean to go act crazy. Sometimes it may mean to go act crazy, but as long as you're not harming yourself or someone else, take the risk, take the chances, go after the thing that you really want. And if you can't right now because you're in a position that you are broke, like I was until I was about 35, 34, where I couldn't pursue the things that I wanted to, start putting energy towards the things that you want. And how do you do that? You start by projecting them, projecting the things that you want. For example, if you want to take a trip, if you want to go live in a different country, start talking about it. Tell people about it. Start making friends that live there. Start joining groups. Right now, we live in a digital age. There's no excuse that if you want to go live in Lisbon, that you are not part of a Lisbon digital nomads group. Why even think about it if you're not taking that action? That's the first step, is to project it out into the universe. Project what you want in life out into the universe, and you'd vocalize that by taking action, joining groups, talking to people, reading information, looking at pictures, drawing pictures, whatever it is that you need to do to start visualizing this and putting those positive thoughts into that bank account that's going to start accruing interest, metaphorically. Do it. Take action today, because again, regret is the worst feeling in the world. It's worse than the feeling of rejection. It's worse than the feeling of failure. It's so much better to get rejected. It's so much better to fail at something, but at least you tried, instead of 10 years from now you thinking, man, what if I would have done that? What if I would have talked? What if I would have expressed my business idea with my friend who now has a business doing similarly the thing that I was thinking of doing? What if I would have expressed that to him and not been afraid of what other people think? So start working towards your dreams and your goals by remembering that rejection is the worst feeling in the world. So don't get caught up. Don't get caught up in your own mind. Don't hesitate. You may hesitate for a little bit, but don't get caught up in that negative feeling or in the heads of others, thinking, what will this person think? What will they think about me? If I get rejected, what will other girls think about me? You know, what will other people think about me? What will my friends think about me? If you go up to her and you do get rejected, I guarantee you, you're going to feel a lot better than if you never did and you lose the opportunity to ever do it again. So number one, regret is the worst feeling in the world. Number two, become more valuable. And here I'm talking about more in business or in the job, your economic situation. You have to be the hardest person. You have to be the hardest worker in the room. At times you may be the least educated, with the least experience. However, no piece of paper or amount of time of experience can tell you how hard you work. You prove that yourself. So be the hardest worker in the room. Work harder than anyone else, and eventually you'll get paid for it. I know this because it happened to me in my life. Even if there are others that are working less than you are, but getting paid more, eventually the cream will rise to the top and the shit will float. Eventually you'll be recognized and compensated, and they will be called out and taken out. I know because it's happened in my life. I've seen it firsthand. So remember, the cream always rises, and so does the shit. So don't be a piece of shit that doesn't work hard, even though you may get paid more, because eventually you'll float to the top and you'll be seen. Be the cream. Be the cream of the crop. Be the cream in the cup of coffee that rises to the top. This means that you have to be consistent. Create a routine. Being consistent is hard. It's not easy. Not everybody can go 5 years being the hardest worker in the same room. In order to do this, in order to become consistent, you have to create a routine and stick to it. Don't change stuff up just because you're feeling lazy that day or you're tired or you're unhappy that day. See it through and keep pushing. Have more heart than talent. You may have some talent, but make sure your heart is bigger than your talent, because no one will take that away from you. Because tomorrow someone more talented may come around. But if you have more heart, more work ethic, more commitment, no one can take that away from you. Have pride. If you're not making the amount of money that you want to make, don't wish to make more money. Do like Jim Rohn said, wish to be more valuable. If you work on becoming more valuable by having great communication skills, arriving to the office early, leaving the office after everyone else does, over-delivering, driving results, you'll start to be compensated for it. It's only the natural progression. And if you don't right now, eventually you will. Maybe not at this company or at this job that you have right now. Maybe not even at the business that you have right now, but eventually the dots will start to connect. But you have to be consistent. You have to become more valuable to the marketplace. If you want to make an above average income, you have to become an above average person. I'll repeat that. If you want to make an above average income, you have to become an above average person. Work on yourself more than you do on your job or your business. Work on your handshake, work on your smile, work on your attitude. If you want to be paid an above average income, you have to become an above average person. You have to become an above average person. Work on becoming more valuable. If you're not listening or reading something that will make you more valuable to the marketplace every day, you're falling short. If you want to be paid $100, $200, $1,000 an hour, you're going to need to provide more value. So work on yourself. Even some people want to be successful and they don't even have a good handshake. Have you ever shaken someone's hand and it's like a limp fish? It's like, how can that person want to be successful if that's the level of confidence that they have? Work on these things, become conscious of them. And how do you do that? You do that by listening to motivational books, motivational speeches. They're all free. Spotify, YouTube, we're in a digital age. There's no reason for you not working on yourself every single day, even if it means listening to a motivational podcast or a speech for 5 minutes, 10 minutes every single day in the morning while you drive to work, while you're at the gym, while you're on the treadmill, while you're walking home, while you're falling asleep. There's no excuse for you not to work on yourself. So if you want to earn an above average income, you have to become an above average person. And you do that by working on yourself more than you do on your business. Your business will thrive, but it's all based on you. If you've got a great attitude every morning, awesome. But if you don't that day because something happened, your girl broke up with you, your boyfriend left you, you got in a car accident and a fender bender, and now you have to think about the bill that you have to pay, etc. Don't bring that into the workplace. That does not add value to the workplace. You've got to brainwash yourself to become more valuable, to become an above average person, and eventually you will be compensated like an above average person. I know this because I've experienced it in my business, in my life, where I continued to be consistent with the work that we do. And even though we were not getting paid a lot, and there were other people that were making more, and we felt a little bitter, a little salty about that, I kept pushing. I kept saying, look, if we continue to drive these results, eventually it'll go in the right person's eyes, right? The person that makes the decisions. And that's exactly what happened. The person that makes the decisions figured out that these are the guys that are doing all 80% of the work, that are bringing 80% of the income. We need to get rid of these other people. And that's what happened. And now we make an above average income and we continue to be consistent. Why? Because it's become a habit. It's become a habit for us to be above average. So make that a habit. Become a valuable person. Force yourself, even if you don't like those motivational speeches. You may even think they're corny. You may even hear me right now and say, oh, that's so cliche. But I guarantee you, if you listen to something like this every single day, your mind is going to start to change. You're going to see mountains of problems that used to look like mountains start to look like molehills, more palatable. The day will start to look easier. Challenges will look like opportunities. This is all stuff that I learned. I wasn't born like this. I'm telling you, I'm 41 years old, and if I were young, if I approached my younger self, this is what I would tell him. I'd say, you've got to start working on yourself today. There's no excuse for you not to start working today on becoming an above average person. So number 3 is to learn to sell. Everything in life revolves around sales. Whether it's meeting someone you're attracted to going to a job interview, to impressing that new boss, or simply meeting a new friend. Everything is about sales. Everything in life is sales. We're constantly being sold something and we're constantly selling something. Whether it's directly or indirectly, if you're getting up in the morning and taking a shower so that you don't fucking stink, so that when you're next to people, they don't reject you, you're in the sales. You're selling yourself. As crude as that may sound, it's something that I've found to be true in my life. So learn to sell. You'll become good. And the only way that you learn to sell and become good at sales is by pitching many people. And when I mean pitching, it doesn't mean, only in your sales job, or you have to get a sales job. But if you want to make more money, let's say, and you're tired of your job, then you're going to have to go look for another job or look for opportunities within your industry or even in your own company. But how are you going to do that? Number 1, you have to become more valuable. And number 2, you have to know how to sell that value to the person higher up, to the person hiring, to the business that may need your business, your solution, your product, your service. So you have to learn how to sell. Being able to program something and being an amazing programmer is one thing. But if you don't know how to sell that skill, you're forever going to be working under someone for less than what you should be making. So learn how to sell. The only way to learn how to sell is by pitching many, many, many people. That's how I learned. And this is the only way that I would tell my younger self to conquer this skill, is to pitch many people. The only way that you're going to get better at public speaking is by public speaking every single day. That's literally what I'm doing right now in my life. I'm doing a live stream every single day where I'm talking about a subject and I'm in front of people. I don't care if one person or a million people are watching, but I'm going to talk as if many were watching, and I'm going to do it many and many and many times over and over again until I've mastered it, until I can teach someone to do it. Because that's when you know that you've mastered someone, is when you can actually teach someone to do it. Same thing with sales. Do it over and over and over again until you could teach someone to do it for you and make them great at it and help them make money. So learn how to sell. You'll become good at sales if you pitch many people. You'll get over your fear of rejection by pitching many people and being rejected many times. You'll learn what works and what doesn't by pitching many people. You'll learn to handle and accept awkward silences by pitching hundreds of people. You'll learn to listen and not talk by talking to many people, hundreds of people. That's one of the greatest skills in sales, is to learn how to listen and how to be silent and how not to be the first one to talk in that awkward silence after you made the sales question. So learn by doing. You can read a million books on sales, but if you don't approach one person, you're not going to learn how to sell, and you're not going to sell anything. If you read all of the dating books on how to approach women or how to attract a good man or whatever it is that women read, I don't even know what they read. but you don't actually go out and put yourself in front of people, then you're never going to be able to sell yourself. So go out and talk and sell to as many people as possible. Learn to embrace rejection. Rejection is a good thing in sales. As weird as that may sound, but one of the things that I found is that when someone says no, and it's a definitive no after you've asked the second, third, or fourth time, then you're relieved because now you can go on to the next person. So getting a no, being rejected is completely fine, and if anything, it is good for sales. Same with anything in life. Whether you're meeting new people and you get rejected by them, they weren't the people to be. It wasn't the person that you were meant to be with. Maybe they'll come back around again later, but do you really want them around back later if they rejected you the first time? So get started right now. Start pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. Go out there and get rejected. Hit the brick wall. Get doors slammed in your face. Get yelled at over the phone. Develop a tough skin. Pitch hundreds of people. Eventually those no's will turn into yeses. Eventually you'll get very good at sales. Eventually you'll teach people to sell, which in turn will make you a better salesman and a better leader and a good business person. So learn how to sell, and you can do anything. Number 4, and finally, number 4, always be giving. Be generous always, especially when you're broke. Why especially when you're broke? How can you be generous when you're broke? This is something that you should be especially when you're broke, because being generous is a habit. If you make it a habit now that you're broke, when you have money, it'll become second nature and it'll make you more money. Being generous has made me more money. Being generous with people will return you more happiness than pain. Material things are temporary. If you can help someone today by giving them food, a place to stay, or a job, especially a job, that friendship will last forever. That loyalty will last forever, or at least for a very long time. I would tell my younger self, I know you're smart enough to know when someone's going to take advantage of you or wants to take advantage of you. So trust your gut, trust your instinct. Eliminate those toxic people and focus on the good ones. The good ones may be a small group, but focus on them and the return will be tenfold. If I were talking to my younger self, I would tell him, dream of giving more. Don't just be satisfied with giving someone, something small. Dream of giving more. And how can you give more? Think of ways that you can give more. This dream will drive you to work harder on yourself, work harder on your business, to be better than you are today. Because you know, and I know, that if you have more money and more opportunity, you can help more people. If you're broke and all you can do right now is to help and be generous with your time, with your interest, with your love, with your attention, with your attitude, do that and get in the habit of being generous with people. Listen more than you talk. That's generosity. Help if you want to help with your time. If you have time to volunteer, volunteer. If you have time to teach something to someone with nothing in return, do it. It's not just about money. Be generous with your time, your energy, your interest, your attitude, your love. Dream of giving more to many. Because as you start becoming this adult, as you start becoming this successful person, if you're not generous, you're going to hit a ceiling. Because you can only make so much money yourself. You have to bring people with you if you want to be more successful. So focus on other people. Be generous. Help them make more money, and in turn, you will make more money. Even if you don't see how right now, get into the habit of helping people and being generous with your time, your energy, your attitude, your love. doesn't just have to be money. Eventually, it can be money once you have it, but you can't give away what you don't have. But you have a lot to offer other than just money. So be generous always. So thank you guys for joining. Again, I'm Andrew Messia. This is Life Hacks with Andrew. Every day I'm doing a live stream where I'm talking about a different topic. Today it was about what I would tell my younger self now that I'm 41. I can't believe that I'm not young anymore. It's something that I realized today. It's something that I've realized. It's a slow realization because I still do consider myself young in heart, in spirit, in attitude, in age for where we are right now in the world, in our evolution of mankind. Being 41, you're pretty much middle-aged, and many people at my age, are already married, settled down, or maybe on to their second marriage. Actually, 50% of them are, according to statistics, 50% of them may have been divorced already. So there's a lot of things that I skipped out on, and it was a conscious decision. So if I were to go back and talk to my younger self, I would tell him these things. I would tell him, number one, regret is the worst feeling in the world. Number two, become more valuable. Number three, learn how to sell. And number four, always be giving, because it's not all about money. So yeah, those are the four major things I would tell myself. And knowing me, I probably wouldn't listen and still commit the same mistakes. But but at least I would probably take some of the advice. The learning to sell, I think, is a very key one in my life. Like, I very much appreciate joining a multi-level marketing company at the age of 25 after I got out of jail and learning how to sell by being thrown in the fire. Literally, we would sell knockoff perfume out in the street to strangers, and we had to pitch 100 people every single day just to make, $40, $50 sometimes less, sometimes just $20, because it was just a bad day. And sometimes you have bad days, but doesn't mean that tomorrow I'm not going to pitch another 100 people. And that was the habit that I created. It was a good habit to cultivate, even though I didn't even know it back then. I was just along for the ride. I liked the people that were teaching me, and then eventually I became good at sales, or at least those type of sales, and then started teaching others. But that skill carried over into digital marketing. If it weren't for that, I wouldn't have found the clients that we have now. Because even though we have clients and we're doing well, I continue to find opportunities. I continue to pitch because I know that every good thing has its end. We can have a multi-million-dollar client tomorrow, but tomorrow he may leave, he may go bankrupt, they may make a bad business decision that will affect all of their vendors, including ourselves. It's happened before, it'll happen again. But as long as I know how to sell, I know that I'm never going to be in need of money. And money is, unfortunately, a very big necessity, in our lives now. And it's adjacent, I think, to our happiness. Unfortunately, many people think that money will make you happy, but I was happy when I was broke. I never really considered myself broke, and now looking back at myself, I was like, damn, I lived on the street, I lived out of my car, I went to jail for a while, all those experiences had no money involved in them, but I never considered myself broke in those situations because I was constantly working on my attitude, and thankfully I had mentors that believed in me more than I might have believed in myself at the time, that pushed me to become better, that pushed me to grow and to work on myself, whether it was deliberately on a business, whether it was selling, whether it was learning the product and selling it, whether it was marketing, etc. I pushed myself to learn more and in turn became more valuable to the marketplace. Today, my digital marketing business, Joel and I, our business, we're valuable in the marketplace. Our niche is drug and alcohol rehab centers in the United States. That's what we do digital marketing for. And we've become valuable because we know every in and out of that business. We know what it takes to rank one of those websites. We know what it costs to rank one of those websites. We know what value it brings to them. And if we can show them what we can do and then do it for them and over deliver, that is invaluable to that client, because they don't get that a lot in this industry. If anybody knows the digital marketing world, it is hard. It's unpredictable. So when you get someone that actually delivers results, you hold that true and dear. And then you'll refer them out to your best friends that also own other treatment centers. So kind of straying off the topic there, but in short, what I would tell myself is to work on yourself, learn how to sell, take risks, and don't hold any regrets, because regret is the worst feeling in the world. So thank you guys for joining. I hope that you guys join tomorrow. I'm on every single day streaming, whether it's a different topic about business, about lifestyle, about motivation. I'm going to be on for the next, at least for the next year. The goal is for 2 years, but I don't know the evolution of this. But I do know one thing, that I'm very disciplined, and I'm very good with consistency. So there's no way that I'm not going to be streaming every single day something, even if it's just video games and me just sharing my good vibes with you guys. I hope you guys